So I have a little clip here of Bullhorn Betty on Dolly Vision's channel. I just have a question. Is Dolly becoming a hater roach channel? Because he does not agree with Miss Bullhorn Betty.
Right. That's why everybody's so mad. If you're asking why is everybody so hot, it's because of that. It's because
I didn't even hear about that one, Betty. Really.
Yeah.
What I heard about was something about kids being you said something bad about kids or something.
No,
kids,
I can't help
murders.
the facts. I can't help the facts. So here's what it is. The Marion 3. It's sad to say that the victims of that, the 3 people that died, they were all 6 of them were part of this band of kids that were robbing people.
Mm-hmm.
And one set of kids turned on the other set of kids, and it's upsetting to me because it seems like the set of kids that got executed, ending the identity of the third male because they never released the third male, appears that all the white kids in this band of 6 were gunned down by the black kids. And I'm sorry, it's an obvious. There's nothing. Betty didn't make these facts up.
It's not just that, but we'll get to it.
But
right.
So what? I mean, here's the thing on the laws. If you're charged as a juvenile, as an adult, you commit a crime, you're charged as an adult. Can they not execute you, give you the death penalty in this country? I'm not positive of the law
Well,
myself.
I'm
saying if you're charged as an adult, I know as a minor they cannot give you the death penalty, but if they charge you as an adult, could they give you the death penalty or just life in prison?
No, it depends on the age of the child. If I remember, there's some kind of a Supreme Court decision that came out that said it was unconstitutional to give a child the death penalty.
Right.
So it really depends on their age. So what you see is most of these kids that commit these violent
Well,
crimes.
but once you say you're charging somebody as an adult, they're no longer a child.
But it still has the Supreme Court's based on age, not
It is.
You know.
Even though they committed the crime as a minor,
Yes.
they're charged as an adult. They still hold them as a minor as in life in prison.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
some sort of Supreme Court decision. I can't remember which one, but I remember when it came.
So you
out.
wasn't saying. I mean, I know the hate channel but you was just saying these bad kids, they deserve the death. That did these things deserve the death penalty, basically.
They deserve the death penalty, and I was very cautious and said, I don't want.
How old are the kids? I have no clue. So I'm just.
The oldest child is 17 years old. The oldest victim is 17.
Oh, that's
years
adult
old.
in most states. You
Yeah.
know, like you in the South, 16, you an adult. You go to prison.
One of the assailants was only 12.
Okay, yeah, you don't execute that kid. 17 in some states, you're legal. You can get married, all kinds of shit. You're a grown man at 17. You know right from wrong. I think at that age, at that age, if you're charged as an adult, you know what I'm saying? If I sat on your jury and you was facing the death penalty and you did something heinous, depending on the circumstances,
Yeah.
But I would say at 17, you know right from wrong. Definitely know, kids that, when they're young, their brains ain't completely developed. They can be misguided, misled. There's a lot of reasons you probably shouldn't execute young offenders, but there's in this world we live in, there is some young people, especially when you get to teenage ages like 16, 17, that do some of the most heinous, crazy shit. And, as a society, what do we do with that? Because you're 2 years older, we can give you the death penalty or put you, I just say, life in prison for people under 18. You're just never going to get out,
I find myself agreeing with most of what Dolly is saying here. Yep, mark this day on the calendars.
As far as
And that's
executing
basically what
lethal injection, probably not. Save that for people that are over 18 that commit crimes, but I don't know. You cause some heat for that one. I see a lot of people.
And it's
That's
they're
different
convincing
thing.
the public that going to prison. Now, granted, I do believe there are just some people that are, don't need to be around society, but I don't think that heavy punishment should be for everybody. And me personally feel that judges should have to go to prison in order to provide that kind of sentencing because they don't know what they're providing to people. And, some petty crimes are getting 10 years. And to me, that is institutionalizing somebody. You've got a petty crime, and now you're going to make a hardened criminal out of this person, as opposed to getting them the help they need. Are they having financial problems? Do they have a drug problem? Do they have a mental problem? And I don't think that the prisons are for everyone. And I'm sorry, that's just how I believe.
In that portion, she was not talking about minors. She was talking about adults. So it baffles me that it's okay to exterminate some kids, yet some adults who are going through things or have mental issues or financial issues shouldn't be put in prison? Make this make sense.
I mean, we can go into the same kind of scenario with kids too, because it depends on the kids' upbringing, what kind of environment they were created in. You know what I'm saying? Their parents, and then their actions. We gotta judge these kids that do horrible things on a little bit on their upbringing, like what made them be the little monsters that they are. And there's reasons for it. All kids, I don't think a kid is born bad. You know what I'm saying? I think a kid can take a bad path. You know what I'm saying? But I think with the right people and the right love and the right people around any kid, they will do great in life. I honestly believe
It's because, okay, so this
more
is
than you need anything in this world is love. If you got somebody that loves you and cares about you, you'll be fine.
Did you hear Betty say, I disagree? You might have to go back and replay it, but it's in there. I disagree.
Because of my euthanization comment. So I basically said that I was talking about the kids, and I basically said there are kids and adults that are too violent for saving. that they need to be,
Right.
that just like caged dogs, you have dogs that are vicious.
Well, when you say
Let's just flash back real quick to what was actually said.
It's the bleeding hearts wanting to save children. Some children are not worth saving, and I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. Just like some dogs. Some dogs are too vicious that they have to be euthanized. And we have to take into consideration, because we consider dogs animals. Human beings are animals too. We're just a different species of animals. We're all mammals. We are all this, even dogs. They have hair, they breathe oxygen, they give live birth. We are mammals. We are animals.
Thank you, Stacey.
And some of us are too vicious to live amongst the rest of us. And we need to euthanize them like we do the vicious dogs. And that's how I feel. I don't think an age changes what's in their heart, in their mind, and in their soul. I just don't believe that.
kids,
ourselves, and
but when you say kids, that ain't the adult mind. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a kid that is an adult age kid, a young adult, then yeah, I get it. But a kid, saying kid itself, is saying that this mind is not fully developed. To me, that's what a kid is. Is a person that his mind is not fully developed.
Yeah, but when it comes to these children, there are some kids that are just horrible, rotten apples. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and kowtow to, a PC or a bleeding heart. I'm talking about violent people that take another life.
Yeah.
That had no consequences or no conscience of taking another person's life. They will never be the same again. You got Aiden Fauci. Do you think that boy will ever be able to walk among us? Of course not.
He might not ever be able to walk among us, but that doesn't mean he can't be rehabilitated and serve out the rest of his life in prison, which is actually cheaper than sitting on death row.
There are just some children out there that are truly pure.
He's had that girl 104 times. It was so horrible. That was so horrible. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're saying. I get it. And I see where people would be upset about what you're saying too. It's one of those double-edged swords. Yeah, crime in this country is bad. There are some really horrible, horrible kids doing really, really horrible things. But the key word is this. Are they kids or are they adults? If they're kids, we don't euthanize kids. We try to fix our kids.
Yep.
So is Dolly going to be considered a hater roach channel now? Because he does not agree with Bullhorn Betty.
If
I
they're
never said
adults,
euthanize them. I just said
Excuse me, liar from Liarville. You never said euthanize them. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
Vicious to live amongst the rest of us. And we need to euthanize them like we do the vicious dogs.
they're adults,
There's some-
we treat them like adults and they get the punishment that adults get. That's just how I feel about it,
But we also have to remember some of these kids are gang affiliated. These kids are, some of these kids come from different countries. They don't think anything twice about robbing, R-ing, or killing someone. And
they don't.
Which kids are you talking about there, Betty?
sorry, you can't.
Some of these
some
kids
things are
don't know
just
no
being
better
born.
though. Some of the kids don't know no better because it's all their whole life is kind of this. You know what
I
I'm saying? They
agree
brought
with
up in
that,
a
but
world
we
that we
can
don't
apply that.
understand.
But we can apply that same standard to adults because they came from childhood, right? They have.
I don't disagree with you there that we should apply similar standards to adults. However, most adults' brains are fully formed, fully developed. But instead of admitting you were wrong to say that some kids should be euthanized, you double down and distract from the argument.
About childhood, this is all they know. They were taught this. I mean, we could apply that to everybody, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of kids out there that have horrible environments, horrible homes, and they're not out murdering people or torturing people.
Right.
No.
Yeah. And I think there's a certain age that you ain't a kid anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But that age is not, that's in the late teenagers. Once you hit 16, 17 years old, I think of your decisions. You made adult decisions. You should pay adult consequences.
Not a 12-year-old child who has the chance to change. I don't even know how I feel about a 16 or a 17-year-old.
Any younger than that, yeah, let's put you in some juvenile stuff. Let's get you some help. Let's try to fix you
Right.
kind of situation,
And I'm all about getting them before they get to that point. But it's unfortunately, we have to be realistic. I'm a realistic.
Yeah, I just think
so-
this. You can take the worst kid on this planet and you can put that kid around good people and a lot of love, and that kid will turn out to be a good kid.
There are cases that would happen, just like vicious dogs. There's cases where you can retrain a vicious dog. And
And I think that's what people are mad at you about, Betty, is you're like comparing kids to
Because
dogs.
we're all animals.
You know what I'm saying? It's a big jump
That's
from
the foundation of
dogs
brain,
to people.
that
There's a
we're
big
all
jump
animals.
there.
We're all animals. We're all mammals. We're no different.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
that. But that's like,
They'll twist my words around, and I stand by what I say. There are
I
some
feel you.
people that walk among us that don't need to be here.
Absolutely no one twisted your words. We played them out in full context. It would be one thing to say that some people should be euthanized, but that's not what you said. You said some kids. You mixed in a bunch of other stuff around it, that has a lot of people questioning what you really meant. But we won't twist those words. We'll use your exact words, that some kids should be euthanized, like dogs. So thank you, Dolly, for standing up for our kids and the possibility that they can be rehabilitated. And welcome to the hater roach side, because that's where you are now when you disagree with Bullhorn Betty. That's all for this one, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Love, love.